have a constitutional convention, and what would that look like? Jim will describe what that is and how it came about in a moment, but the organization is called Repair California, and we'll talk a little bit tonight about the challenges of how that might work, what the issues are, and how you might get involved if anyone's interested in that. And we'll hopefully have this as an opportunity to demonstrate that this is a chance not just to have a good dialogue, but to encourage real involvement.
I've been involved in politics one way or another for a long time now, probably getting toward close to 30 years, one way or another. I'll tell you a little bit about that. But one of the things I learned, I was taught early on, was you never do town hall meetings and things when people have alcohol. So put your drinks down. But they actually teach you that, because it's it can actually, this is a kind of a upscale crowd, but it can get a little rough out there at times when people are drinking and you're having issues, and you know, there are things that are close to the heart and so forth. So I wish you luck with this. I'm really honored to be your premier opening speaker, and if you do have problems with the nature of the event, I hope they come at some later time. In the meantime, I'll do my best to humor you, keep you at ease as much as possible. So, as Lenny said, I run a business association called the Bay Area Council. How many of you have heard of the Bay Area Council? Can I just get, oh, look at that. Oh, it makes me feel good. I kind of cut my teeth with Mayor Feinstein when she was mayor of San Francisco, and I worked there for a number of years, and with her until she left office when she was termed out. And then I went on to run a number of companies in the waste industry. So I went from politics to garbage. I went back to politics to did some campaigns, and I went on to become Mayor Frank Jordan's chief of staff for the last 3 years of his administration, until he was mercilessly defeated by Willie Brown in an unfortunate shower incident that some of you may remember. Then I went into I did some consulting. I worked for the 49ers for a couple of years. I was actually the person who drove the stadium campaign. You know, the new stadium. Oh, there's no new stadium. Well, that was me. We actually won an election with supposedly dead people from down here voting, but I don't believe that. And then I went into the credit card industry. So you get the politics, garbage, politics, credit card. It's not good. And now I'm a constitutional reformer. So Lenny called me the accidental reformer in an article that was written in the New York Times a couple of weeks ago. You had no idea how serious that is. After I worked, when I was with Providian Financial, I was the head of public affairs or something like that for about 6 or 7 years. I became chairman of the board of the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce. I was involved in the Bay Area Council then as a member of the council, and I did a lot of charitable activity, corporate philanthropy, things like that. And so I've been in the government on the service delivery and management side in the San Francisco City Hall. I've been in the waste industry, which is really a public service industry, almost a governmental offshoot in a way. I had been I had been a consultant working in a number of different public and private type industries, and then in the private sector in a publicly traded New York Stock Exchange traded company. Sort of seen it all. And what was important for me in life was the driving influence in my life had really become the way services are delivered to the public. And I become, in the phase with Providian and being on the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce and a chair of its board, I become very fascinated and motivated by seeing how we could improve the business climate of the state and how we could make things work better and understand better what it takes to do those kinds of things. What we essentially do is we work on all those issues which drive business and economic competitiveness, which contribute to places like Half Moon Bay and other places in the Bay Area by creating an enhanced quality of life and so forth. Sort of together the secret sauce of what it takes to make a region innovative and competitive and vibrant and so forth. We're very lucky. I mean, you come to Half Moon Bay, you could say this about a lot of other parts of the Bay Area. We are blessed in this place that we call home. A lot of people around the world would love to be here, and people come here to be. How many people came to the Bay Area from somewhere else? You didn't start off here. showed up from somewhere else. That's not something you would get in a lot of other places around the country. The numbers usually are about half and half. And it says something about us that this is a sought after, and I could raise mine, you hear the New York accent there, right? So what are those things that drive competitiveness? They are transportation, mobility, having people being able to get from one place to another, from their home to their job to recreation and so forth. The education system, from the time people are little kids to the time they come through the public education system, and clearly the system of higher education, something we did in California a few generations ago. We invested in the best higher education system in the country, maybe in the world, from the community college system to the state university system and the UC system, top research institution in the world, publicly financed research institution in the world. Amazing forethought to do that in the state. Same with the infrastructure that we built. We were, back in the 1950s and 60s, we were the model for implementing the federal highway system. The Bay Area Council in the 1950s created the BART system, first major fixed rail public transportation system in America after World War II. We were able to, in a desert climate, which is basically what we have in the state, we were able to deliver water to the population. We were able to develop the foremost agricultural system in the world, led by the University of California, that figured out how to do that. And the list goes on. And we did this in a way where, as we developed our region and we developed our economy, we did it with a sense of, where we could, we did it with a sense of place. So we had all that going for us. And California was booming. And it became the dream. And when I was a kid, growing up in New York, people were going to California. I mean, everybody wanted to come here. And most of them did. And over the last couple of years, we reached a conclusion that we couldn't continue moving forward as a place with a state government like the one we have. And you didn't have to be very smart to figure this out. All you had to do is read the newspaper and read about the budget deficits and try to have conversations with the elected officials who won't even have a conversation with you about real things, because they're being driven by things other than about the major problems of the state, prison system, the water system, major problems that are being ignored. And so I run a business association. It's my job to leverage the influence of people from diverse industries who lead big companies to try to get these kinds of things done in the public interest. We're not a special interest business association. We're really a public policy group. Lenny was a great chair, and he couldn't get a better chair than this fellow who understands these issues